What's blue and spiky with a need for speed? Everybody's favorite Sega-owned video game character, Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm actually very familiar with this particularly blue, not atomically correct hedgehog. My brother bought like every single comic that was Sonic from Barnes & Noble growing up, and I watched the cartoon as well on Fox for Kids. Was that the name of the program? I'm not sure. Anyway, it's every Drawfee Sonic. What do you want from me? Let's jump into the video. The first thing that I do is lay out the background in black and white. At first I thought I was going to be much closer to the big waterfall that's going to be in the background, but then I decided to set that a little farther away and then have a close-up on this pond. So this location is a chow garden where you make chows, which are one of my favorite parts of Sonic. I just remember loving the bunny rabbit and chow, and their names were Cream and Cheese, I think. I hope that's not wrong, but I thought they were so cute. And yeah, that was pretty much the extent of how much I knew or enjoyed Sonic, whereas my brother really liked Sonic. Like, he was a very big fan of all of the characters, so yeah, I have a little bit of extra peripheral knowledge because of that. Yeah, and also I will say this was quite an enjoyable video to do because, you know, normally when I do an every Drawfee blank style video, there's, you know, sometimes over 100 Pokemon, but this one, you know, it's a cool 9 to 6. Like, how many are there? I don't know. You can count them yourself. There's just much less than normal, so they can all be slightly closer to the camera, and yeah, I could just really play with the location and give them all the time they need. You can see I'm working on perspective for this bird character because I wanted him to be up in the air. I had to literally draw sort of like a box coffin. That's the trick that people tell you online to do perspective, but it really worked in this particular instance, so I was able to foreshorten him properly. But I like the idea of a character in the sky, characters in the water, and then characters sort of just outside of the pond looking in on the land. That was really fun. And yeah, the Sonic style is interesting. It took me a while to find my groove with it. Like, I'm doing this, you know, very beautiful cat that's going to be on sort of a pool floaty. That was quite difficult, but now she looks so cute. The trick was just give her beautiful long eyelashes and suddenly she, you know, works. But yeah, there was a lot of the liquefy tool to sort of get everybody's features in the right place. But for the most part, this is a very simple video just because it's a cartoony style. I feel like oftentimes with some animes, you know, like, I don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Avatar: The Last Airbender even, it's sort of a little foreign to my hand, but when they're just little furry guys, it's not that complicated. It went pretty well or swimmingly. Oh my gosh, because they're swimming. I'm so tired. Anyway, so yeah, I'm working on more foreshortening with Nathan, who I'm currently sketching now. I was also trying to go back and forth between like what kind of pose to make him be doing, because yeah, I didn't know if he should be doing like the breaststroke or one arm in front of the other, but I sort of, yeah, I don't know. I think the theme of this video was foreshortening, just like the bird up above. I wanted both Julia and Nathan to be coming towards us. And I wanted this background that I'm, you know, or I was coloring to be receded backwards. But now we're inking Nathan, which is very fun. In his drawing that Nathan did when they made their own OCs or version of themselves, Sonic Sonas, if you will, he had a beanie on. And I was like, okay, he's going to be snorkeling underwater and he's going to have one of those little like diver swimmer caps, but his ears are still going to poke through because obviously that's just cute. It's the rule of cute. It has to be done. I just did that hand in one go, so maybe the studying is paying off, y'all. That was crazy. But yeah, I forgot to draw his tails, so if that bothers you, just imagine that they're tucked. Okay, great. And then Julia was also very fun because she's not wearing any snorkeling equipment. I imagine that she's just has her eyes open without goggles and is holding her breath, but is still like down to explore just as much as Nathan is. I don't know, I just found that very charming. And she has the little knuckles like Knuckles has, but when it came to her tail, I gave her a red panda tail because in the original art, we couldn't tell what it was. And I was like, okay, what is an interesting tail? And all I could think of was like beaver. But then eventually I asked my roommate, was like, what are some interesting tails? And she was like, hello, red panda. And I was like, oh my gosh, You are a genius. So yes, that was done, just so it wasn't, the same foxtail or cattail that the other characters have. But forgetting tails is another motif, because the cat is also supposed to have a tail, which I did not draw. So really, it could have just been a foxtail, because I just didn't give anyone else one. Yeah, and now I'm doing the Karina Sonic Sona, who is a bat, which I absolutely adore, but I didn't want her flying. I wanted her to be sort of just having a nice lazy chill day. I didn't like her human feet on her. It creeped me out, so I looked up reference images of real bat feet, and they're very cute. They're like these weird little leathery talon things. So yeah, I wanted her to just be chilling with a coconut drink, almost like she's on vacation, not flying because she can't be bothered. I redrew the head like several times because I didn't quite find myself satisfied the first couple passes, but I think around here is when I start finding my groove. And honestly, this face was completely fine. I could have used it, but because I was doing so much drawing and erasing, I was like, okay, I need to, once again, draw over it just so there isn't that wobble to the contours of my lines. Yes, and now, beautiful face. Very happy with how this turned out. Obviously, I'm just color picking the characters from the YouTube video, so not reinventing the wheel there either. And she's not in a swimsuit because she also can't be bothered to go swimming, so she's just still wearing her leather jacket, and I didn't have to make too many choices when it came to her. And yeah, now we're getting into the coloring, which the characters under the water was a bit of a challenge. I use a lot of adjustment layers in my process in general, and I just was having a lot of difficulty trying to find the right vibe of, should they just be completely blue or should I make them greener? How much yellows should poke through from, the original design and that local color? I'm not sure, but in the end, it was just sort of a lot of trial and error and going with the feels of it. And now we're working on that cute little cat whose name I can't remember. I believe she's also a Karina drawing. I don't know why, but she's reading a newspaper. That won't come up later. It's not like there's any Sonic motifs in Drawfee canon or lore that have to do with newspapers. Weird. Anyway, the bird was done pretty quick. I made his hands literal wings, more like the Rito in Breath of the Wild, because, I don't know. It's just he's flying. Don't give me a break. And then that's Onsta's little Sonic Sona, and you can see her small cart in the background. Yeah, and then now I'm drawing the Jacob one character guy. Yeah, didn't he like money or something? Or is he a king? He wears a crown. I kind of just have him like having big, beautiful, twinkly eyes. Like he's just sort of amazed at the water and wanting to swim. I don't know. I don't quite know why I did any of the emotional choices that I did. I really wasn't thinking about character interactions beyond the Onsta character. I knew I wanted to have Julia's egg, because that's such an iconic part of the Sonic Sona video. The, joke gotcha where Julia did two characters, but one of them is just this egg Sonic. So I wanted her there. I made her kind of bluey themed. I don't know, because it just seems whenever there's a Julia character, it just feels very bluey to me. Does that make sense? And so I knew I wanted to have the egg splashing Onsta because, or Onsta's character, because I don't know. There was something about this like crying fangirl that just seemed so cute. Like she would be playing with Egg Sonic and it would just be a fun time. I'm not sure. It just was something I could see in my brain, and so I drew it. Yes, the background sky, very fun. It's very sherbet. And so I wanted to have this like, it kind of doesn't make any sense because if it's sunset, the blue up above should be darker, but it's a fairy tale little Sonic the Hedgehog grotto. Don't overthink it. And I just enjoyed doing all this rock detailing that I think I totally abandoned, don't I? Because I don't think I was super happy with it. Yeah, I just got rid of all of that and just blurred the absolute heck out of that little cliff face, and then did my blotchy little waterfalls, which was quite nice, and add some shadows to make those rocks recede farther into the background, the leaves on the palms. Yellow clouds. It just doesn't get any better than yellow clouds. They make me so happy. I do one sort of general overlay, as you can see, we're in overlay hell, of orange. And now I'm doing this newspaper because I just felt like it needed to be colored, but there's nothing weird or strange on it. I wonder what's happening in the news in the world that's being reported on. Not sure. Anyway, but yeah, the background was quite fun to do. I also challenged myself to really make it saturated, because I feel like that's a big staple of Sonic fan art, is that you just really go all out. Like you're there, and it's your first time uploading art onto the internet. You're in middle school, and you're just frickin' turning up the saturation. I get rid of, I don't know what happened to cause that orange, but I make the water more blue, add some shadows, soften up the edges a little bit, do some atmospheric perspective. I added those eggs on. Yeah, there's the saturation. Isn't that nice? I felt like it was very true to the art form. Yeah. And then next to Jacob's Sonic Sona, I did mine because I asked the lovely members of my Patreon what characters they wanted to see in the background, and instead of giving me 100, they were like, why don't you just draw your own Sonic Sona? And I was like, oh my gosh, y'all are so smart. I never would have thought of that. So I made myself a bunny because, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I liked cream a lot, and I'm very sleepy now and while I was drawing this. So I just gave him sort of these nice sleepy eyes. He just looks very cute. He's giving very like Ruby from Steven Universe. His shirt says God's sleepiest soldier because that's just the vibe that's happening. And I love the little rainbow that I put on it. I think it looks so cute. I thought about making him yellow because that's my favorite color, but I end up going with more of a peach just because, I don't know, I was feeling peachy. It's summer. But yeah, this is the finished illustration. Other things I didn't quite address, but I started to, was the little nest in the background with the eggs is a reference to Link's Awakening. If you know, you know. Yeah. But now that all of that is said and done, please comment down below what your favorite Sonic the Hedgehog OC Sonic Sona is. What do you think of this little grotto? And what do you think of my attempt at making a Sonic Sona? Let all your comments be heard down below. And if you really want to support the channel, please check me out on Patreon, link in the description, where for just like $4 a month, you can have your name in the end credits. And speaking of end credits, here they are now. Special thanks to Axilius the Great, Bodhi, K. Clark, Christopher, Dabadoodoo, Dax Quinn, Aaron Martin, Gay Jarris, J. Joe Hart, JD Boy 2000, Johan, Mistake, Native Runner, Orion Amastasia, Potion, Cellardor, Scorching Ray, Shoof, Pojo, Rin, Sir Camelot, Smalls the Sack Shammer, Shenanigans, Thumper Daytime, Tortilla Chips, Tad the Turtle, Tuesdays Anyways, Tundra Katie Bean, and Tuppence Pies. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Nathan, and I'll upload a new video real soon. Bye!